had this lawyer and he was like, look, because he sees me on TikTok, you know, he said to me, maybe before you start about video, I don't want to shake my ass on TikTok. I'm not funny. I don't want to do that. I'm like, dude, honestly, bro, you shouldn't even focus on TikTok. You don't even have videos on your website. Just videos on your website that talk about what you do or offering utility or offering someone how to get out of a ticket. You know what I mean? Or how to get their license back or something. So I'm not shilling TikTok. All I'm trying to say is whether you like TikTok or not, it's not up to you. It's changed social media. Every other week, shorts, if you open up YouTube, it looks like TikTok now. Instagram Reels.
Welcome to the Digital Monkey Show. Today we have a special guest. He's a natural public speaker, a genius in the field of digital marketing. He's got a fierce passion and a charismatic personality that would captivate you when he speaks. He's the CEO of Red Pandas Digital and the host of Inbound Buzz podcast. We are privileged to call him our friend and humbled to have him on our podcast today. Welcome to the show, Moby.
Welcome to the Inbound Buzz podcast, your weekly jolt.
That's the wrong song, Drone. What are you doing? Welcome, Moby. Moby Siddique.
Shit, man, that intro sounds better than mine. What are you guys doing? God damn. How you guys going, all right?
No, to be honest, we were actually a bit worried that we'd have Moby here and he'll look at our production and be like, what the hell are you guys doing with my production?
yeah, that's right, man.
But yeah, man, how you doing?
Yeah, good to be here. Excited to be here.
Honestly, we're both a little bit starstruck. I'm usually the one
that
talks
full
a lot,
of shit.
but
You guys are full.
I think
Don't do that.
He does. But yeah, like we've been following your business for a little while now, so we're very excited to have you on the podcast today, Moby. So let's kick right into it. So tell us about your business and who are you? What do you do? And for our fans as well.
Yeah, awesome. So I am the CEO of Red Pandas Digital. It's a business that I started. I was client side for half my career. I worked at a few agencies. I was like, stuff this shit. I could do this much better. Ate humble pie for 2 years. Realized it was a lot harder than I thought. But fast forward 7 years now. We have a team of about 15 people. We were recently acquired, which is very exciting. And we do digital marketing automation, and a lot of coaching as well. So yeah, that's who I am. That's what we do.
Now, you just mentioned that you were just recently acquired. This is quite new to all of us. But what's happening there?
Yeah, so there's a guy called Sheridan, who is my marketing hero. I jokingly, half serious, say I'm his like biggest fangirl on earth.
So basically the way we feel towards you.
Yeah, don't do that shit. Yeah, anyway, he's awesome. Like he had this business called River Pools in 2008. He almost went bankrupt because of the GFC. And anyway, he developed a framework for content marketing and growing your business from a sales and marketing point of view. Anyway, I've been following this guy for a really, really long time and became friends with him and also his business partner, Bob Ruffalo. And anyway, just known them for a really long time. And then like earlier this year, they hit us up and they're like, would you be interested in being acquired? I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? Like, do I need to pinch myself? Like my marketing heroes want to acquire my business. So
I don't know where, like just contacted you.
Yeah. And that's the thing though. Like we're talking about this before we started recording. If you think about why, like I'm not that much better than anyone else out there. Like the thing that really separates me than my peers is content. I put out a lot of content. Because that's the only thing that really differentiates you. Like if you're a video person, if you're a digital marketer, if you're an accountant, in the absence of content, you're almost commoditized. So how do you show trust? How do you show value? You put it out there. So, man, I've just been doing my thing, like putting content out there, being really, really helpful, being top of mind. And obviously, I know, like, and trust these people. They know, like, and trust me. When it came time for them to look for a partner in Australia, they're like, hey, Moby, what do you say? Let's have that conversation. So it was really, really humbling, really sort of validating, for me in terms of the work me and my team have been doing. But yeah, here we are.
That's funny you say that. That's definitely a example of how content can help a lot of people's businesses out there. A lot of people we try to educate them on the content side of things. They just don't believe it because they think that, hey, look, it's not going to directly lead to any lead gen or any new clients coming in. But they don't realize the credibility and the reach you have with that content. The client may not be using you then and there, but eventually down the line when they are looking for a service like yours, where do they go first? To your website. They call you directly, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Absolutely.
Now, I guess post or during this whole acquisition process, how is this going to change your business?
Yeah, so we do a lot of what I call done for you type of marketing, like a traditional digital marketing agency. There's a lot of people in my category where you engage them, we'll come up with a strategy, and then based on your goals, we'll develop a roadmap and we'll execute. So the execution elements could include SEO, PPC, content, it could include video, marketing automation, and we do the work for our clients. And then like this funny thing happened, like I realized this was sometime last year where if we actually do our job really well, clients don't need us. We make ourselves redundant. Like I had this situation many times, had a client of ours where Wimp to Warrior, now they've become Ultra Fitness. When we started with them, they had 2-3 people, maybe 4 people in total. When we finished, they had 3 people in marketing, global business, 20-30 people, recently acquired by News Corp. And I was trying to sell them something. It's like selling like a round peg in a square hole type of thing. And like, you know, just trying to like get them to stay with us. But it didn't feel right. And then I thought to myself, man, of course, like they want to develop their own team. Of course, they want to develop sales and marketing. And also that's the way you get best results. Whether I like it or not, the way you get the best results is in taking your marketing in-house, taking it internally. Like agencies are there for a purpose, right? To a purpose. So anyway, this whole thing pivots. It's not like we're walking away from that. We're definitely pivoting from the done for you, but it's pivoting to done by you, because there's a couple of things. Like one, to really have that hockey stick like growth, to have traffic, sales and leads, you need to take that shit in-house, right? Like engaging an external agency, even like Red Pandas, you're going to be creating content. They're going to be like, that agency is juggling you between 10, 20, 30, 40 other clients. You're not going to get their best time and their best, you know, like mind share all the time. So, you know, it sounds like I'm knocking my own industry, and I kind of am, but I'm saying at some point you should try to take your sales and marketing in-house.
What does that mean for your business? Because obviously you're teaching all the skills and all the tips and tricks of the industry, in the marketing industry, but then that kind of makes you redundant.
100%. But that's the thing. Like, if you do your job well enough anyway, you should make yourself redundant. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Like, if I do my job really well and a business is able to grow and hire more people and hire marketers, it might be a natural thing that they want to do anyway, right? So the thing is to train someone and coach them to take marketing internally, to take SEO, content, paid media, sales training, HubSpot automation, which is all the things we train people on to do internally now. That still takes a period. That still takes anywhere from 12 months to 24 months based on the commitment of that client. So because at the end of the day, the beautiful thing about that, Fung, is the case studies, man. Like the results they're going to be able to generate by themselves compared to us doing it for them is night and day, whether we like to admit it or not. Like, yeah, I had to take some humble pie. I had to be like, shit, this could make us redundant. But that's the best way to get like really good case studies. And that's the way I can sell these case studies elsewhere and actually get even more clients.
Okay.
But not just that, do you switch over to a agency, but now to an advisory in case they do have issues internally and they want to seek out for external help? Would that be a service you provide now?
So now we're done for you and done by you. So I would actually argue, so obviously we are kind of defending, you know, the done for you type of business. Some clients actually aren't ready for the done for you, done by you service yet, the coaching training side. But I would argue that that's where they should pivot eventually to anyway. But yes, essentially for all intensive purposes, now we're doing a training and coaching model where they pay us to train them, even help them hire the right people internally. But it's not just sales and like, it's not just marketing, it's sales as well. So we'll have these 90-day planning sessions and we help the clients get out of their own way. Because
so that's interesting that you mentioned that, because one of our pitches that we pitch to our clients is that why would you hire someone in-house when you can for the same amount of price, you can get a whole team that's dedicated to that side of the business for you.
But they're not 100% dedicated. Like he said, he has 30, 40 clients per account manager. You probably have 10.
Oh, no, ours like that. Well, some businesses do. Like us, we've tried to keep it to a point where every account manager only has 5 clients.
Yeah, and it's tough.
But some agencies don't do that. They have 10, 20, 30, 40 clients. You know what I mean? So even our done for you, where we're doing the work, it's a premium. Like the average retainer we sell now in that area is 7.5, 8.5 grand per month. You know what I mean? So I know what you're saying, but the thing is like, that's just not the way it is. Like when you look at the case studies, when they take it in-house, they're able to, like, I'll give you one example. When you hire a writer, an outsourced writer, their objective is very different to someone internally. When you hire an outsourced writer, their objective is, yes, to write a good piece of content, but to get that piece of content out as fast as possible. They'll look at the top 3 things that are ranking in Google, take a bit from column A, B, C, and then craft something. But they're not adding anything unique and new. So Google doesn't give a shit. So it doesn't do the SEO job. Secondly, they're just trying to churn out the content. Whereas when you have someone internally, they understand the essence of your brand. They understand the voice of the brand. They have conversations with the peers all the time. They're incentivized differently. They want something that has traffic, leads, and sales, and it's a deeper pice of content.
I think it's a piece about with the, I guess, the freelancers, the contractors, for the writers. They're just trying to get paid, right? At the end of the day. Whereas
they're there for their own
churn
interest.
out, churn the articles out.
Entrepreneur versus employee. With the employee, they've already got the salary. They don't have to worry about that. So they just want to do good work.
Interesting.
And they probably have a KPI to do good work, not just churn out content. This actually ties really nicely to the next question that we want to ask you is, what is good content in 2022?
So I think there's 2 components of that. The first element is like snackable. So when I think about video right now, like if you listen to Inbound Buzz, and you should, subscribe and check us out if you do.
Shameless plug.
I listen to about 5 times every single week.
That's because you're editing it, right? Of course. But it's almost funny. It's like right now, almost every episode, in the start of every episode, we talk about the news. Me and Tony talk about the news. And almost every week, it's either something that TikTok has done or something Facebook or Instagram is ripping off of TikTok. Because like TikTok is like just set the scene and the pace for what content is. And I've been talking about snackable content for years before TikTok, but TikTok is like the ultimate piece of snackable content where it's just about the content. It's bite-sized. You get something within 15 and 60 seconds. So in terms of what really good content is, I would say one, that it's snackable, right? It's quick, it's fast, and video is great for that. Absolutely. And the second thing is, and this is really important, is scalable. So one of the biggest mistakes I see businesses make, I was talking to a friend of mine today, and he started a podcast and he's like, it's going to take me this amount of time. I've got to edit and this and that. I'm like, dude, if you can't do anything where you can do it sustainably and at a scalable level, then don't do it, because you're going to give up. You're going to get busy. You're going to have tenders. You're going to have issues with employees. So for example, like the way we do the podcast, right, is, you guys come in, you shoot our videos.
Who is it?
AM Visuals. .com.au. Man, if you like, goddamn, I'm trying to go real discreet. You guys are like shilling to level 10. But anyway, like you guys, so we have a set time every week where you guys come in. We have me and Tony spend half an hour sometimes even less, to prepare for the show. Look at some news, think of a featured topic to talk about. And then because I'm an expert in my field, that stuff is in my head all the time. So we have that conversation, and then we're done for the week. And you guys go and you guys cut it up. And I think we create 56 pieces of content in 1 month. And then then I have VAs. Then I actually have VAs. They will put it on TikTok, LinkedIn, Instagram. Even our content articles, I've got a full-time content writer. He looks at what's working on the snackable side. And then that is his feeder to come up with article ideas. It's like almost market research for him.
What's that? It's like a well-oiled machine.
So being very strategic on the content that you put out, because one of the things that I talked to one of my friends the other day, and he's saying that the thing that he thinks about TikTok is that yes, it's fast content, but he finds that he's just flicking through them, watching it, and then it's out of his mind like the next day. So it's really good the way you've done it is being strategic about it and keeping it at the forefront of people's minds.
I mean, I just want to say one disclaimer on TikTok, because I do think that I had this lawyer and he was like, look, Moby, because he sees me on TikTok. So he thought I was going to say to him, Moby, he said to me, Moby, before you start about video, I don't want to shake my ass on TikTok. I'm not funny. I don't want to do that. I'm like, dude, honestly, bro, you shouldn't even focus on TikTok. You don't even have videos on your website. Just videos on your website that talk about what you do, or offering utility, or offering someone how to get out of a ticket. You know what I mean? Or how to get their license back or something. So I'm not shilling TikTok. All I'm trying to say is whether you like TikTok or not, it's not up to you. It's changed social media. every other week, shorts. If you open up YouTube, it looks like TikTok now. Instagram Reels, it looks like TikTok now.
Even YouTube's in on it now.
It's changed the consumption behavior, how we consume social media. Everyone's moving there. So whether you like it or not, it's too bad. It's going to catch up with you. And one day you're going to be like, damn, I wish I got onto TikTok. Just like you're saying now, damn, I wish I got onto Facebook, Instagram when it was worth it.
Yeah, true. It is in its infancy at the moment.
Yeah.
Now, another question in regards to content. Moby, do you ever get a bit butthurt when your content doesn't go viral or doesn't like what you've put a lot of time into? You think, oh yeah, everyone's gonna love this, but then it doesn't hit.
You sit there and look at the stats every day, sort of thing.
I think, I think this stops a lot of people. This stops a lot of people in their tracks, and their egos are like, they just need to get their egos out of the way, to be honest. Like, I'll put out, this is the thing, like when I first started TikTok, I was putting out 4 pieces a day because like Gary Vee said, do 4 pieces a day. I'm like, all right, stuff this guy. I'm going to give it a shot. I reckon it's full of shit, but I'm going to try. And I had a keynote coming up, so I'm like, okay, at least I can share my failure that it didn't work. And it freaking worked. Like some of that stuff wouldn't hit, and some of the stuff would hit. And the thing is, you don't know what's going to hit. You actually don't know what's going to go viral. You know what I mean? So the thing is, like, I will say quantity breeds the quality. So you have to have that quantity. It just is what it is. You know, like people will not put stuff out because they think it's not perfect. But what they don't realize, it's never going to get good because they got to put stuff out. And man, some of my stuff still gets like nothing likes or views or whatever. And some of the stuff will get 500,000, 1 million views. But do you know what I'm trying to say? Like when stuff pops off, and I gave some advice to someone recently, they said to me, man, Moby, like my thing hit, 200,000 people. And I'm like, look, the piece of advice I'd give for you now is don't let that get to your head. Because the next thing you're going to put out, you're going to get 200 views and then you're going to stop. Like, okay, awesome. Let me learn from that. Let me sort of figure out what's kind of working and keep going with my content, because some of your shit's not going to hit, and that's okay.
Do you know what's funny? We've actually got a client that he does pretty well on his social media. So he's I think TikTok is fast approaching 4,000 or something over a span of a couple of weeks. And he every now and again we get a piece of content that goes up to 6 figures in terms of views. But with all the traction that he's building, he's not doing anything with it. He's just kind of like thinking that when he started doing content with us that he'd get leads left, right, and center. But I keep telling him that's not the case, right? You're building reputation, you're building brands through your social media platforms. But look, he just doesn't believe in, because he's not generating direct income. What would you say to people like that?
Yeah, well, that's actually one of the things I wanted to ask as well, because like you're the fact that you got acquired by this company over in the US is from your content. So how would you approach that conversation with your clients?
So there's a couple of things. Like, firstly, like I said, I'm not going to create anything if I can't scale it. But also, I'm not going to create anything if I can't transpose it or use it in another medium, right? Like if I was just going to if we were just going to engage you guys to do our podcast and to put it on TikTok, it's not worth it because it might not hit. Like that's the thing. Like I don't disagree with that because that's an issue a lot of people have. I don't disagree with the fact that if you put stuff out, just on TikTok, no one's going to make a purchasing decision. That's why you have to have other things as well, right? Like that stuff helps. If I'm creating TikToks, it's going to help our newsletter that we send out. That's our owned media. It's going to help the articles that we put up. There's going to be a long form piece of content. It's going to be content that my sales guy could literally send to someone when he's having a conversation. So it's that as well. But also you got to realize that people are at different stages of the buyer's journey. And you guys were touching at this before. So someone who's bottom of funnel ready to buy, they're going to go on my website. They need to see all the questions, all the answers to the questions that they have. And if they don't have the answers to the questions, and like we know this from They Ask You Answer, which is something my business partner Impact and us now coach people on, is writing things like, the cost of something, something versus something else, reviews, the problems of your offering, those types of content. So I guess what I'm trying to say is like, there's horses for courses, and you have to understand there's different content for different stages of the buying cycle. Those people that consume me on TikTok, they might now connect with me on LinkedIn. They might join our database. And like you guys were saying before, when they're ready to buy, who they're going to go to? Why wouldn't you put stuff out there? Like it's free, if you exclude the production value, but it doesn't cost you anything. That's the thing people don't realize. Before we had this professional level podcast, for 4 years, I just bought a $90 mic and I sat at my desk and I did podcasting. That didn't cost me anything but time. But the reason why I did it, this is why I don't understand why more CEOs and business owners don't put more content on LinkedIn. Like, it's free.
I think it's the idea generation piece that they struggle with, because obviously, like you said, it is a lot of time. Like, as you may know, content generation, from the idea to shooting to editing, it's literally a full-time job, because there's so much to do, right? But I think that's what kind of deters them from doing that, to be honest. So.
And that's why I said before, it's snackable and scalable.
Yeah.
Like, if you're not going to be able, like, man, I broke my ass doing 4 TikToks a day. Like, that was for a really tight period because I was doing an experiment, but I was getting home at 9 o'clock. I get it. But now I do, now I put 3 pieces of content out. I put 3 posts on LinkedIn per week. I tried 2 per day. I tried 1 per day, but 3 pieces, I can manage that. It only takes me 20 minutes. So this is the thing, there's more ideas than you realize. You might be talking to a client, someone might ask a question. I just pull out my OneNote. I'm like, well, that's a great piece of content. So I'm like, every day in my day to day, the difference between me and someone says that they don't have time is I'm just jotting down those ideas, but then I batch when I do my content. So then when I sit down at 7 o'clock, 7 a.m. in the morning before I start my day, I'm like, all right, cool. What do I have on my OneNote? All right, what is SEO? All right, amazing. All right, let me do a quick piece on that. It takes me half an hour. Do you know what I mean? So it's like a habit and routine. And that's the other thing people don't realize. The quantity will build that routine. You can't just do shit here and there and think it's going to work. You haven't done it properly.
Like you would say, it's a muscle, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of muscles, I'm interested to find.
Where the hell did that come from?
We kind of in sync there, because I saw a habit. I had muscle. I'm like, this is time. So I'm really interested, because like, when, again, coming back to my introduction, like when I listen to you speak, you're very captivating in the way that you're able to create a story out of any topic and be able to deliver it very succinctly. I want to know, you delivered a piece about like how communication is a muscle, and also how good you are in terms of public speaking. So can you tell me a bit about how you approach communications, and like, what does it mean for you, and also in your business?
So I think I'm far from being an expert, but it's nice to think that
to me, you're pretty good, man.
maybe it's relative. But the point I do want to say is I'm actually like really slow to pick up on a skill. Like, it actually takes me time to pick up on a skill. But once I get it, right? It is a muscle, right? Just like anything becomes trained. So, like when I first started my business, I realized that I need to be a good communicator, right? So it's not necessarily about being a speaker or whatever. I need to be a good communicator. So, if you're at work and anytime you have an opportunity to present, you take that. People ask me to MC weddings now, and I've been told by DJs because I'm often in the DJ booth next to them. They're like, man, you're better than the average MC. It's not that I'm an MC, I'm a communicator. So like that, working that muscle of being a communicator, the podcasting that I did for 4 or 5 years and we're still doing now, that helps me be a good speaker. The speaker that I am, that helps me be a good, like if I'm in a boardroom and presenting to high net worth individuals, makes me confident, right? Even like I recently did, a comedy stand-up,
You did?
Yeah, I did I think it's like Comedy in the Raw, and I did like this 5-week course, and then I had to do a 5-minute set. Now, to the untrained eye, like, this guy's just wants to be a comedian. No, it's actually, I don't want to be a freaking comedian. I am trying to work my communication muscle, because if I can make a bunch of people, like, it's easy to make your friends laugh. It's easy to talk about something that in front of people that and your peers. But if I could make a bunch of people who don't know me from bar of soap laugh, for them to laugh, they have to know me, like me, trust me. When I'm in sales calls or when I'm meeting people, it's the exact same thing. They have to know me, like me, trust me. So that's the muscle and for me, comedy was a very thing. I'm not uncomfortable speaking in front of 500, 600 people anymore. It doesn't bother me anymore. But comedy did. So training that is going to make you a better business owner, a better leader, a better entrepreneur. So that's it. People see that, but they don't realize that I'm working on that skill all the time. And it's actually, I don't believe it's a natural thing. It might appear natural now, but I've been working on this shit for a very long time,
So, important question. How did it go? Did people laugh?
Yeah, absolutely.
Are you sure?
You didn't bomb at all?
Absolutely.
Awesome.
I don't know if you guys have show notes. I'm happy to share that.
Really?
Like, I'm done with it, because the thing about comedians is, there's a little bit of like, I don't love myself that much. Like, I do like attention, so that helps me, video and being, that's my style. Like, I'm an extrovert, so it helps me. Like, videos and, speaking, it suits my style. But I don't love myself that much where I'm just going to go make people laugh. What I enjoy more than the attention is actually helping people.
Yeah.
So for me to just be a comedian, just to get laughs, is just stroking my ego. That doesn't do anything for me. It's like bucket list tick done, but it's the means to the end. Yeah.
I do think that the comedic side, though, sorry to cut you off there, Phil.
That's okay.
I do feel that the comedic side does really help with. I absolutely agree with you in the sense that it does help with business. Like, you're able to make someone laugh, you're more approachable and you're more, I guess they're more willing to do business with you, especially in sales calls, right? Like how they perceive you is how most of the time is if they're going to do business with you, kind of thing.
100%.
So yeah, do agree with you.
I'm very intrigued because both of you guys, the way I see you guys are both extroverts, and the way that you guys speak is, it's very natural. It flows really well. I classify myself more as an introvert, so it is a little bit harder for me to approach people. So do you have any advice for people like me?
So there's two elements. I think there's one, like, for example, especially for marketers, but, people are trying to run a business, CEOs. I actually think every CEO should actually have a personal brand. I actually think that's so vitally important. But you do it, that is linked to your personality and style. So for example, if maybe you write instead. You know what I mean? And it depends on I was speaking to some mentees because I'm a mentor for a bunch of university students, and one of the guys said, well, I want to get into UX and design, and he was quite shy. I'm like, well, you can just create UX and design and have portfolios and just develop that. That's still content. Photos are still content. Like, people on TikTok, there's loads of 1 million plus follower accounts that you never even see their face. So it's not necessarily that. But the caveat, the thing I will say is, if you're in business, you have to develop some communication skills. Now, it might be harder for you, but you still got to do it. It is what it is. I've met so many people. Like one of my peers, Chris Dupre at Impact. He coaches me in my team. And he actually, when you see him, he's very out there. He's very direct. He's very confident. You notice that within 10 seconds. But he goes, at a party, he goes, I'm the guy in the corner. Like, I'm there quiet. I might have one friend. I'm actually quite subdued. And it's very surprising to people.
Oh, so he just switches it on.
Yeah, he switches it on.
That's
now,
crazy.
It might take him more energy. He might be more tired at the end of the day compared to someone like me who naturally is like that. But he's had to work that. Do you know what I mean? So there's elements. One, I will say, you do things that are conducive to your style. You do it in your own personality. No one's asking you to be like me, where I move my hands around, I'm crazy, I speak 1,000,000 miles an hour. But you have to be confident and portray yourself. So even if you speak slowly and you're a bit more subdued, you still need to work that muscle of, like when you notice me talk in the office, people crack the shits when I'm on a call because, like, maybe you're so loud, like I can't have a call next to you.
Yeah.
And I can't even help it. It's because over years I've developed my stage voice.
Yeah.
So when I talk, my chest's a little bit louder, I take more presence. As soon as you guys notice, when you turn the camera on me, I'm actually a little bit louder, and I can't even help it. It's just something I've trained. So do you know what I'm trying to say? So even if you are quiet, subdued, or you're an introvert, some introverts make some of the best leaders on earth. Because, like, unlike people like me, we just talk, they're actually good listeners. You know what I mean? Like, some of the tech company CEOs, they're introverts, but they've still developed this muscle to communicate. They just do it in their own personality.
I'm thinking of Elon Musk here. He's a terrible communicator, by the way.
Well, I totally agree with you there. But do you think it'd be a good training session to get your team to go take some comedy lessons?
100%, but they're all scared. No one wants to do it.
Really?
I would love to do it, man.
No, but I think it's horses for courses, right? Because I said to you guys before that speaking in front of, like, the reason why I say yes to MCs, because, like, now, firstly, like, Pakistanis, like, they don't want to pay money, right? They're like, oh, Moby, I can say that shit, right? Moby, he can talk, he's pretty confident, we'll save some money, but also not only that too, he makes it fun and whatever, we'll get him to do it. So I don't ever charge for it. Maybe I should start charging. But, like, I did that because that what used to be a challenge for me. Because I'm like, when you're emceeing a wedding, the bride's coming to you, the caterers are like, dude, like, speed up the program, and you're dealing with 100 things. So it was a challenge. So I did it. But that shit's easy for me now. So the next frontier for me was, oh my God, to go and make people laugh that don't know me, that's really nerve-wracking.
So you went looking for something harder to challenge yourself,
100%.
to raise it. Okay.
100%.
That's
So
interesting,
that
yeah.
so back to your questions around, should I get the team? Okay, it'd be fun, but for them, they're probably more nervous. Some of them, like at different levels, different people, right? Some of them are really confident speaking already. We have 2 podcasts, as you guys know. 2 of our female leaders in our business, they have a podcast called The Marketing Mentor. So they're pretty confident, but different levels, right? So for them, if it's the objective of working in communication school, I wouldn't say go to comedy school. For me, like people ask me, would I go Toastmasters? I'm like, well, my whole career has been Toastmasters, so I wouldn't. But other people I would. You know what I mean? I'd say go to Toastmasters or do a whole bunch of other stuff and then maybe do comedy.
And this
Interesting.
episode is just flowing. Different
I love
levels, different devils. Our next segment.
That's true.
So the next segment we want to talk about is a piece that you and I actually spoke about before, Moby. And from my point of view, with Red Pandas, I feel like you've got it made, right? You've got your dream business. You grew that to 7-figure business. Can you tell us, at this stage of your life, do you still have any struggles?
I don't think that ever goes away. I think you just get better at dealing with them. So like people see my content and they see like I've got 30,000 followers on TikTok. I'm putting stuff out. I always seem very confident. I've got a team of 15 people. I got acquired. They're like you said, this guy's got it made. But I'll tell you, every week I have an imposter syndrome moment.
Wow.
Do you know what I mean? Like I always have these moments where I'm like, man, can I do this? Like I have these moments of doubt. It happens all the freaking time. And I don't think it actually changes. I think what happens is you just get better with dealing at it and you have to formulate your own strategy. So for me, when I have imposter syndrome or doubt, I just try to redirect that energy. Like where the focus goes, the energy flows type of thing.
Hey.
So
I love that one.
I think Moby has been reading my books of quotes, to be honest. There's a little running joke. That
Man, right. Man, I'm a book of quotes.
Exactly.
But the point is, like, I will then redirect that energy to what's in my circle of control. Right? I can't control the market. I can't control my competitors. I can't control if my employees are leaving or some of our clients are being difficult. I can't control those things. But what can I control? I can control waking up early in the morning. I can control working out. I can control, working on my business, putting content out there. Do you know what I mean? So I just redirect that nervous energy into just getting busy. And that's what works for me.
Getting busy if you're nervous. I like that one. So I guess one of the question I have for you in this respect is, what does success for you look like at that level? At your level, sorry.
I think really it's balance. And one of the things that I've been dealing with is I've always been really hard on myself. Like I'm never satisfied. And I think that's good. Like a strength can be a weakness and a weakness can be a strength, right? The fact that I'm never satisfied means like I always keep myself busy. I'm always trying to grow myself. I'm always trying to be a baby in learning something new. But the flip side of that coin is I never appreciate my success. Like when I started my business, I'm like, yeah, cool. People were congratulating me. I'm like, no. Like I'm not happy yet. So I never really appreciated that. So every so often you've got to stop and like, you know what? Enjoy the journey. I was talking to you guys about this once after a show that I think someone was talking about like when I get to this level, I'll be happy. And I'll be like, you know what? You actually won't. You actually won't. Like if you once I get to 7 figures, I'll be happy. Once I have a team, once I have an office, yeah, be proud of that moment. But I promise you, you're gonna feel the same if you don't enjoy the journey. Just be like, man, I'm so grateful I'm on this journey that I get to like even try. Like if you haven't started your business, be grateful that you're on the journey to like, you're making a business plan, you're learning things, right? If you've just started working for yourself, man, I'm only a one person business, but at least I'm on the journey, because I promise you, if you don't do that, you're never going to enjoy the levels of success. And whether that's like a 7-figure business owner like me or a 10-figure, 11-figure, you're still going to feel freaking miserable. So in terms of what success is, to wrap that up, for me, it's like trying to pursue balance across my business, my family, my health, my spirituality. So that for me is the pursuit of attaining those things and achieving those things rather than a destination.
Are you getting goosebumps?
Yeah, I just
I'm
got
getting goosebumps.
Like, holy crap! Wow, that was powerful.
It's just cold in here. It's
no,
not
no,
actually.
no, no.
Yeah.
No, that was actually powerful. I really like that.
Thank you for that. That was great.
I had a moment today. Actually, I was I just came around the toilet just back there.
Okay.
Is that where you get your? Is that where you get your moments?
All right. Okay. Cool. Tell us about your toilet moment. I'm sure everyone would love to hear about your toilet moment.
So I literally had a moment, and then I was telling Jerome, like, man, just once you just take a step back and see where we've come, what we've come from, and where we are now in the last couple of months, 8 months or so, when we first started working together. It's crazy to think that all these pieces are starting to just kind of fall into place, and you're like, when you first started, you didn't really see that growth or where you wanted to go, but when you take a step back and just reflect, like, man, I'm quite happy at the moment.
You know,
it's crazy.
Matthew McConaughey talks about, he had like probably the best Oscar speech of all time. And he talks about the fact that his hero is him 5 years from now.
Hey,
Right?
oi.
And then when he gets to 5 years, his hero is then the next version of him 5 years from now. So with you guys, like think about like you today, 5 years ago, if you could meet yourself 5 years ago and say, hey, look, dude, we'd be doing this and this, that person wouldn't believe you.
Yeah, it's true.
And that's what makes yourself really proud about yourself. But you're always just in competition with the future version of yourself.
Maybe you're my hero.
Stop it. Stop it.
He's blushing.
The good thing is you guys can't see me blushing. So
I distinctly remember the first job I've ever had as a videographer. Remember that time when you said just do it? I was at your house. I was living at your house, and the first ever job was just like a $70 drone job, and here we are now.
I was just reading the words in your t-shirt, bro. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh,
No, I'm just messing with you.
Yeah.
All right, next topic.
mental health. This is definitely something that's very personal to me, because it's something that I've recently started opening up about. Mental health is something I've been dealing with on and off for the last couple of years, and doing your shows, I've noticed that in your office, psych safety is something that you guys been like talking about a lot. And in the last podcast with James, he delved very deep in mental health. Can you tell me about what your thoughts are on it?
So firstly, the idea of psychological safety is you have the ability to express yourself and be yourself in every definition of that word. So if what we try to do at Red Pandas is have a very psych-safe environment. So that means you're comfortable, like, man, you know, if you're quirky and make weird jokes, you're not shy to make those quirky jokes. If you like have like your hair purple, you're not shy to be yourself and express yourself. Why? Well, because then at the same time, you're not shy to say, hey, you know what, Moby, like, you know what you did in that meeting? That wasn't cool, man. That client got upset. It's like, oh, damn, thank you for telling me. Like, because we have blind spots, you know? So people, when they have psych safety, they're better at their roles. They're themselves. They're more comfortable. They're more confident. They're better, happy human individuals, right? So that's the idea of psych safety. What was the other part of your question?
The other one is regarding seeing a therapist and being open about the troubles that you're going through.
Like, I got to be really careful here what I say, because I feel like there needs to be a little bit of overcorrective action. So we spoke about mental health, and, you know, like, I'm an ambassador for LinkedIn Australia. So I recently did a piece on Are You Okay? You know, and the idea of, like, you know, you don't need qualifications. They're running this campaign and just checking in with someone, right? The thing is, like, you know, we're in this society now where, like, you're supposed to just accept everything about yourself. Like, you know, if you're fat, great, you're fat, right? If you're upset, that's the way you are. You know, you're a depressive person, that's who you are. But, like, no, if you're fat and you're not happy, like, work out, man. You know what I mean? Like, do something about yourself. Maybe you shouldn't be happy with that. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Yeah. Like, there's nothing wrong. Like, we glamorize being yourself, and that's important. I'm not saying that's not important. But also, like, what about bettering yourself? It's not about being happy in the state you are at right now. Maybe you lack some education. Maybe you're not as smart as you want to be. And smart is just a factor of learning and reading and that type of stuff. Maybe you don't have the body type that you currently have right now. Yeah, accept yourself so you're not depressed. But, like, whatever happened to self-improvement and working hard and getting better? You know what I mean? So, like, for me, so of course, like, you know, you see Red Pandas talk about psych safety. It's no joke. We're so defensive about people being happy and having good mental health. But at the same time, I would say do not use mental health as a crutch, right? I love the idea of speaking to people, the idea of speaking to a therapist or a psychologist, whatever. I love that idea. But what I would say is, like, I'm sure not all of them are the same. They're incentivized, like, by you coming back. And sometimes at some point you got to ask yourself, okay, have I done what I needed to do? And I spoke about my problems. I've done that now. How do I get into solutions mode? Because the answer isn't just talking about your problems all the time and reminding yourself how depressed you are and what a loser you are and all the things you blame your parents for. At some point, you got to hustle your ass into action. You know what I mean? So my view on that, if I was going to summarize that, it's like, it's important. We need to double down on that. We need to explore that, unpack that, and then understand, balance that with, okay, what's my plan to get out of that? You know what I mean? Not just be in this depressive state. So I feel like there needs to be a little bit of corrective action because everyone's like, oh, I'm this way and this is who I am. This is the way I'm going to be. And the way to solve my problems is just always talking about it. To a level, at some point, you got to kick your ass into gear.
In saying that, have you ever gone through any mental, health concerns that you've had of your own in business in general or in your personal life?
100%. Like we're human. You know what I mean? Like, earlier this year, my wife had a miscarriage at 5 months where she miscarried at home. The baby came out at home when she was on the toilet. And I hate to get descriptive and illustrative, but like that shit was freaking depressing, man. You know what I mean? Like I had to deal with that. I took 2-3 days off and then I had to be a leader and like still put on a brave face and talk to clients. And I had to like, you're dealing with people pitying you. You don't want them to pity you. Like, hell yeah, man. Like we all go through these bouts and spurts, right? And I also recognize as well, like me and my wife, we had to deal with that differently. She needed more time. I sort of like, I'm someone who I unpack my feelings. I, address them. And then I need to have a plan. Like I need to have some sort of, the way I deal with stuff is I just get on with it, So I understand too, and I don't want to seem insensitive and whatever, or insensitive rather, but that's the way I deal with stuff, So of course, we have these depressive bouts or these moments, but I think it's important to unpack it, understand it, maybe even feel more uncomfortable by unpacking it, and then figuring out, okay, what do I need to do to get out of that?
What does unpacking it look like? Like, what do you mean by that?
So if I can give you an example, because this happened to me, and I was recently speaking to someone about this as well. Like in one breath, they were like, they were telling me about how they're not happy at work. And then in one conversation, they're like, okay, I'm going to be a marketing manager and focus on this. And then like 2 minutes later, they're like, I'm going to start my own business. I'm like, whoa, slow down a second. Like, what do you actually want to do? Like, do you want to start your own business? Or you want to be a marketing manager? What are you trying to do? And like, they were uneasy, unhappy, in their business, like as an employee somewhere and in their life, and the work was dragging them down. So I'm like, no, unpack that. Think about that. What do you actually want to do? Because you can't do everything. And when I said that, when I had that moment with them, I could see like they had this uncomfortable feeling. I'm like, that uncomfortable feeling you have, that's good. Because like that precedes the tension precedes a breakthrough. So when you're feeling uncomfortable, double down, unpack that and understand like, why do you feel? And so, you do need to talk to people sometimes, a friend, a confidant, a psychologist, whatever, unpack why you feel that. And double down into that tension. Don't just try to drown it with alcohol or technology or just scrolling on your feed because you're trying to or Netflix, you're just trying to drown out those fears. Unpack that and understand that the tension will precede the breakthrough that you need to have.
That's huge. Like the way I picture it at the moment in my mind's eye, that we call it, is like a ball of linen. You're just pulling two strings apart and you just have to really spend the time to sit there and just pull it until it unpacks and you kind of figure out what's in the middle. But that's a really interesting term, unpacking your mental issues.
With unpacking, so that would mean talking to a therapist, for example. Would that classify as unpacking as well? Like they're talking.
Yeah, 100%. Like I'm a big believer of that. But I'm also a believer, like if I was gonna, but also this is me personally, right? So I can't talk to other people, and some people need more help. But my opinion is, if you did need to speak to a professional, that I would before you walk in, put it in your mind that I'm going to have 4 sessions, right? Or I'm going to have I'm going to make it quite finite. Maybe not 4 sessions. I'm going to give it a go for 3 months, whatever it is. Now, you may get into that situation and realize, now, by the way, guys, I'm not talking about people who had unspeakable things done to them, like raped as a kid and lost a parent, really bad shit, evil shit. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the average person, right? I'd go into there with a level of finiteness and understanding that I'm going to keep this I'm going to go in there, no matter how long it takes, but I'm there to have a problem-solving approach so I can solve my problems myself.
It's like physio,
I
right?
don't.
That's an interesting way to look at it.
You might not have the tools yet, right? So you go in there, you go with the empty tool, like a tool belt, understanding what tools you need, and then walk away from your therapist and figure it out yourself. Because you need to figure that shit out yourself. You can't have a therapist as a crutch either. So I love the idea, and I actually, would like to speak to someone one day, or if I needed to, I would. But just to understand the tools that I need, so I could sort that out myself.
Interesting.
Yeah, that was deep. That was deep.
Very, very insightful. Like the way I see it, it's just literally physio for your mind.
Exactly.
They tell
Physio.
you
Yeah,
how
yeah.
to roll a
Physio
thing or
for your mind.
stretch.
I
You
like
go
that
away
one.
and you do it, and then your body is good, and they tell you to not do that anymore, and you don't, and you're good. But yeah, anyways, that's how I see things.
Yeah.
We're coming close to the end of the episode. Fung, have you got any more questions for our biggest star?
Wow.
Even your producer is laughing. Like, you guys are the biggest suck ups.
He's our client. We have to suck up, right?
Yeah. For God's sake, that shit doesn't work on me.
Can you sign my chest later? Is that okay?
Your face, I love it.
I just, when I feel like I'm gonna swear, I just say nothing.
I can see it in your eyes.
That's
I'm
why
like,
that's
the most silent Moby's been this episode. It's quiet again.
I love it. So, do you have any final words, Moby, that you'd like to share? A plug or anything like that?
No, not really. I think, I think really understanding your why in life, why you do something. I think that's the most important thing. If I can give example, for me, I want to be able to be an example, to be a role model, to give back to people. So, a lot of people are very, very impatient with that. Speaking, maybe it's because I spoke to university graduates recently, but they want to solve the world, right? They want to do 2-3 things on the side. They want to help this charity, that charity. Thing is, when you're a young person, people will take advantage of you. They'll take all your time. So you can't say yes to everything. So I think being successful is one, understanding your why, pursuing that, and also the ability to say no to things, because there's an opportunity cost with anything. And, doing your 10,000 hours, the whole 10,000 hour rule it takes to be successful, doing that, doubling down, being patient, and just enjoying the balance, right? Pursuing balance and enjoying the journey.
All right, that was quite an episode, wasn't it, Fung?
Thank
Moby,
you.
I just wanted to thank you for you coming down all the way to our studio to do this episode with us. It was definitely a heavy hitting episode, and we're pretty sure we'll have you back onto the episode. So guys, if you guys enjoyed it, please leave us a comment in the section below. Like and subscribe, and you can find this episode on Spotify, on YouTube at EP5 of Digital Monkey Show. And yeah, thanks.
Well,
Cue music.
thank you so much, man.